warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pada kesempatan untuk siang hari ini, kami sebagai kelompok ingin mempresentasikan review dari buku yang berjudul Puss in Boots. Dan perkenankan saya untuk memperkenalkan diri dan teman saya. Pertama-tama, nama saya Ananda Kurniawan Rianto, bisa dipanggil Nanda, dan teman kelompok saya yaitu Muhammad Yahya. Dan langsung saja untuk mengefisienkan waktu, termasuk ke materi untuk mereview buku tersebut. Puss in Boots, or Le Marche Chat ou Le Chatbot, is one of the most famous literary fairy tales, solidified in its classic form by Carl Perrault in his 1997 collection, Histoires au Contes du Temps Fast. The story begins with Miller, who dies and leaves his humble estate to his three sons. The eldest inherits the mills, the second gets a donkey, and the youngest is left with only a cat. Distraught by his meager inheritance and considering the cat failed for a pair of gloves, the youngest son is surprised when the cat speaks. The cat asks for a pair of boots and a sack, promising to make the young man fortune once outfitted. The cat begins a series of sophisticated cons. The royal gifts. The cat hunts game in the forest and presents it to the king as a gift from his master, the fictional Marquis of Carabas. The false identity. Knowing the king carriage truth, the cat has his master bathe in a river and pretend the Marquis has been robbed and is drowning. The king, impressed by the Marquis' previous gifts, provide him with fine clothes. Intimidation. The cat runs ahead, threatening the peasants in the field along the road, forcing them to claim that their land belonged to the great Marquis of Carabas. The final act. The cat reaches the castle of powerful, shape-shifting ogre. Through flattery, he tricked the ogre to turning into a mouse, then promptly eats him. He claimed the castle as his ancestors' own. The word. The king, arriving at the castle and seeing its splendor, is fully convinced of the Marquis' wealth and status. He offers his daughter's hands in marriage to the miller's son, who live happily ever after, with Puss in Boots retiring as Grand Lord. Analysis and themes. First, the power of fake it till you make it. Unlike many fairy tales where the hero succeeds through moral virtue or kindness, the hero of Puss in Boots succeeds entirely through deceit, social engineering, and image management. The story is biting satire of a society where appearance, fine clothes, a grand title dictate one's value. The protagonist does not become a nobleman. He simply convinces everyone he already is one. Second, social mobility and class. Perrault's work reflects the social anxieties and the opportunities of the court of Louis XIV. It suggests that in a rigid class structure, a servant with enough wit and audacity can manipulate the systems of power to secure a high status for himself and his masters. It is a cynical take on the rags to riches trope. Third, the animal helper. In folkloristic, this is classified as an ATU 545B tale, as the cat as helper. While the cat acts as a benefactor, he is also a predatory force. His loyalty is self-serving. He secures his own luxury by attaching himself to a master who can support him. The irony of master who is essentially a puppet for his cat highlight the inversion of traditional hierarchy. The moral. Peralt actually included two morals at the end of the original text. The first, praise the value of industry and ingenuity, suggesting that talent and know-how are better than a mere inheritance of a meal. The second, acknowledge the reality that clothes, look, and the gift of gab are often what truly captivate the wealthy and powerful. Historical context. While Perrault is credited with the version of most recognized today, the story has deep root in Italian folklore, such as Cagliuso by Giambattista Basile. These earlier versions were often even grittier, sometimes depicting the cat as more morally ambiguous creature, who eventually demand his own reward or test of loyalty from the ungrateful master.
The dialogue. Your Majesty is indeed welcome to the castle of my lord Marcos of Carabas, he said. And is this splendid castle also yours, my lord Marcos of Carabas? Inquired the king. Let us go in a few place. The Marcos has given to the princess, and they followed the king into the castle. In the spacious hall they found a splendid feast which had been prepared by the arch for some of his friends. The king was so charmed with the good quality of my lord Marcos of Carabas that when he had partaken of banquet he said, I will be your own fault if you do not, son, become my son-in-law, my dear Lord Marcos of Carabas. So after a short courtship, the princess became the bride of the Marcos, and they lived happily ever after. Was in the woods was met a great lord and more the most beautiful clothes, and never again run after mice except for entertainment. And thank you.
That's all we can present today. If we make mistake or accidentally cause offense, I, speaking for our whole group, are more or less sorry. For perfection only remain to God, and all wrongness belong to us. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.